Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your leadership for fiscal discipline in the House and through this entire reconciliation process. It really has been incredible. It's a little entertaining to hear my colleagues on the other side of the aisle talk about fiscal discipline whenever they've never seen a foreign country they don't want to shower American tax dollars with. They've never seen an illegal alien that they don't want to give amnesty and welfare to. They've never seen a left-wing organization that they don't want to launder our tax dollars to. The only area they can ever agree on cutting is whenever the goal is to tear down our military. And now all of a sudden they are the fiscal hawks of the House. It's really, really rich. But I'd like to talk about something else here. Again, thank you, Chairman Arrington. Mr. Winfrey, thank you for being here and for taking the time and for your advice throughout this process. But I'd like to ask you about repealing the Inflation Reduction Act. Do you think that that's an efficient way to cut government spending?
I do, yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about how much we might be able to save and where some of those areas are?
Some estimates put the IRA subsidies in the ballpark of $700 to $800 billion over 10 years.
Got it. And how might this give us perhaps the flexibility to help pass President Trump's agenda through reconciliation?
Well, rather than targeted subsidies to businesses, it would allow the tax cuts to be even lower than they otherwise would be. So you're not picking winners and losers. You're rather allowing people to do what they want with their own money.
Right, that's right. And we've seen the Biden administration launder billions of dollars through EV charging stations and other kinds of green energy scams. Even after they've been proven to be wildly ineffective, we spent billions of dollars. Come to find out years later, they hadn't built a single charger. And yet the Biden administration continued to pour more and more money into EV charging stations. We spent $521 million in August of 2024 and $635 million in January following that. This is a ridiculous use of taxpayer monies. Do you think that we should continue any of these programs?
You know, I wouldn't. But that, again, that's because I don't think that the government should be picking winners and losers with these subsidy programs. I think that we should trust people with their own resources.
Got it. Do you think that they've been effective at lowering energy costs or emissions?
No, it seems to me like they haven't been very effective at all in doing that. They haven't been effective in doing what they were intended to do, like building EV charging stations.
Got it. And we've heard a lot of talk recently about potential rescission packages coming from the White House. Could you talk to us a little bit about the importance of a rescission package?
Sure. Rescissions have been used throughout U.S. history, and they're incredibly important to the budget process, in part because it allows Congress to be involved with the government reorganization process, right? So there are things that get appropriated over time, and then Congress ends up collecting new information, and the president is often able to do the things that Congress requires them to do at lower cost, and the extra money should be clawed back.
Right, I completely agree. The rescission package that's being contemplated now, of course, would defund parts of USAID, which I think the American people have been begging for, and to finally get rid of funding for Marxist news organizations like NPR and PBS, which is something we've been talking about for a very, very long time. I want to end with this question to you. We saw a recent budget proposal from the president. Would you explain to us sort of some of your thoughts on that? What you like to see in that budget?
Well, just like the House Budget Committee, I think what the president is doing is he's laying out his set of trade-offs that he's making, and that's the exact right conversation that needs to be had with the executive branch and within Congress. And that's, I think everybody on this panel wants to encourage more discussion over what some of these trade-offs are. My own views are probably more aligned with where the president's budget is than where some of my other colleagues on the panel might be. Just because, having been President Trump's budget director, having served in the administration in several capacities, I've seen the bloat, especially on the domestic discretionary, that can get clawed back and that DOJ is finding. But ultimately, the president's budget is meant to kickstart this process, and you all should engage, and I would encourage you to do so.
Thank you very